So, what does it actually mean for something to be alive? It sounds like a simple question, right? But it's one of the biggest questions in all of science. Today, we're going to break down the official 7 point checklist that biologists use to tell the difference between what's living and what's not. I mean, really think about it. If you found something totally new, how would you know? What would be the dead giveaway that it's actually alive? It's kind of like the ultimate cosmic detective mystery. And lucky for us, scientists have already laid out all the clues. Okay, let's put ourselves right in that situation. Picture it. You're an astronaut, you're millions of miles from Earth, and you find something. Is it just a weird-looking rock? Or is it the discovery of a lifetime? This isn't just a fun thought experiment. It's a real problem that scientists at places like NASA are trying to solve right now. The stakes are huge. To solve a mystery this big, our astronaut would pull out a universal guide, Life's 7 point checklist. These are the rules that every single known living thing on our planet follows. There are absolutely no exceptions. So, let's dive into the clues. All right, first up on the list, organization. This one is totally non-negotiable. Every living thing we know of is built from at least one cell. You can think of cells as the tiny, microscopic Lego bricks that build all of life. If there are no cells, well, it's game over. It's not alive. Simple as that. And the range here is just mind-blowing. On one end, you've got a bacterium. That's a whole, complete organism living inside a single cell. But then on the other end, you've got us, humans, basically a walking, talking community of trillions of cells all working together. It's the same basic rule, just playing out on wildly different scales. Clue number 2 is that life doesn't just sit there. It's active, it's interactive. Living things are aware of what's happening around them, and they react to it. This reaction to a change in the environment, what scientists call a stimulus, is a fundamental sign of being alive. I mean, you probably don't think of a plant as being super active, right? But that simple act of bending toward the sunlight coming through a window, that's a clear, deliberate response. The plant knows it needs light to live, so it physically moves to get more of it. That right there is life in action. Our third clue is a bit of a fancy word, homeostasis. But the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. It's all about keeping things on the inside nice and stable. It doesn't matter if it's freezing cold or super hot outside, a living thing has this internal control center that's working constantly to keep conditions just right for it to survive. It's this incredible balancing act happening every single second. And here's an example you experience all the time. Why do we sweat when it gets hot? That's our body's built-in air conditioning kicking on. As the sweat evaporates, it cools our skin down, helping to keep our internal temperature locked in at that perfect 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. See, that's homeostasis. Fourth on our checklist is metabolism, and this is all about energy. To do literally anything, to grow, to move, to react, even just to think, you need fuel. Metabolism is the whole process of taking in fuel, like food or sunlight, and turning it into usable energy. To put it simply, no energy, no life. And in the living world, there are two main strategies for getting this energy. You've got plants, who are like the ultimate chefs. They literally make their own food, just using sunlight. Then you have us, humans. We have to go out and eat other things to get our fuel. Two totally different paths to the exact same essential goal. Okay, our fifth clue is actually a 2-for-1 deal: growth and development. Now, they might sound like the same thing, but they're really not. Growth is basically just about getting bigger. Either your cells get larger or you make more of them. But development is about changing, about transforming your entire form and function. Here's the easiest way to think about it. A baby growing into an adult, that's growth. But a caterpillar completely reorganizing its entire body into a butterfly, now that is a stunning example of development. All living things do some version of both. Our sixth characteristic is reproduction. And yeah, this one's a big deal. For life to keep going past just one individual's lifespan, it has to be able to make copies of itself. This ability to create the next generation is absolutely essential for any species to survive over the long haul. And just like with everything else, life has come up with all sorts of creative ways to get this done. You have something like a bacterium, which reproduces by just splitting itself in two. Super simple. And then you have a dog, which uses a much, much more complex process to have puppies. But the end goal is exactly the same, making sure there's a next generation. And now for our seventh and final clue, and this one might be the deepest one of all: evolution and adaptation. See, life isn't static, it doesn't stay the same. Over really long periods of time, whole populations change. The traits that help them survive and reproduce in their environment get passed on and become more common. And that's what drives the incredible variety of life we see all around us. Just look at a polar bear. That thick white fur is no accident. It is a perfect adaptation, a feature that developed over thousands and thousands of generations because it gave those bears a huge advantage for surviving in the freezing Arctic. It's a direct, visible result of evolution in action. Okay, so we've got our 7 clues, we've examined our mysterious object from that other planet. It is time to deliver the verdict. But, and this is really important, there's a critical catch. When it comes to the checklist of life, there is no such thing as partial credit. To officially be called alive, an object can't just have 1 or 2 of these traits. It can't even have 6 out of 7. It has to check every single box. 7 for 7. It is an all-or-nothing deal. And this strict rule is what makes the definition of life so powerful. Think about it. A fire can grow, it can use energy, but it can't evolve or keep its internal environment stable. A crystal can grow in a very organized way, but it's not made of cells. Only the things that check all 7 boxes get to join the club of the living. So you might be thinking, okay, that's cool for finding aliens, but why does this checklist matter to me here on Earth? Well, it turns out this framework isn't just for sci-fi. It's an incredibly important tool that we use in very practical ways every single day. I mean, this list is the foundation for so much. It's literally what guides our rovers searching for life on Mars. It's what a doctor is checking when they take your vital signs. They're making sure your body is successfully maintaining homeostasis. And it's what helps scientists figure out how to protect entire ecosystems by making sure all the living things in it can keep doing these 7 essential things. So there you have it, the 7 rules that define what it means to be alive. But I want to leave you with one last question to think about. Now that you know the rules of the game, if you had to pick just one of these characteristics as the most important one, the one that really gets to the heart of what life is, which one would you choose? Thanks for tuning in.